Start. All right. So yesterday we have already completed basic joins. Now self join is remaining, right? But
Yeah.
for self join, but our data requirement uh, for the self join, the requirement is that the foreign key should be in the same table only, right? So
Okay.
what we can do, there is a classical question that there is a user employee table, and inside the employee table, the manager will be also an employee, right?
Yeah.
So there will be one manager. So it will be an employee table that we are going to create. Then there would be an ID, there would be a name, and we can take just manager ID. Manager, like the problem statement would be that our employee could be what's the name of your manager?
Santosh.
Ankush,
Santosh.
Santosh. Okay. So and what's the name of Santosh? Manager of Santosh?
Ramesh.
Come again?
Ramesh. Dr. Ramesh.
Ramesh. Cool. So let's take only two data. So what I want, the output I want as employee and then manager, right? And what ends up happening? Okay, my bad. This is the way I want the data, right? This is the way we want the data. So this is the output, not the input. And how our data will be visible? ID 1, Kishore 1, and manager will come first, right? So the Ramesh will be first person. Okay, Kishore will be third, and Ramesh will be first, right? We are just assuming that manager comes first, right? So let's
Okay.
assume this person has no manager. Then Santosh has a manager ID 1, Kishore has manager ID 2, right? Cool.
Okay.
So this is how our database will look, and this is the output that we expect. Cool. So we are going to create the
Ah.
database. So we are already have seen created database multiple times. So now we are going to create. Let's see the tables. We have three tables, right? This table I'm going to delete, right, later on. So
Okay.
it's way too easy to create a table, so you can create it on your own. Now, how we create a table? Employee side, and then ID int primary key. Cool. Oh my bad. And the name
Right. Right.
varchar. Let's take anything like 40, and then manager ID, right? So ID int manager ID. We are not adding foreign key and all those functions, right?
Good.
Okay. Near int ID. Okay, there is a char and ID. Okay, what's wrong with
ID.
this?
ID. 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 ID.
Yes,
Two times here.
nice, nice. So it will be manager ID, right? Okay, my bad. So this thing is like will be like this. Cool. Table created. Now we will see employees. Right. This is the table. Only one index is there, and that's to a primary key constraint because of primary key constraint. Right. So let's try to insert data. Insert into employees, right? Then values, then one, and okay,
Ramesh.
Ramesh, Ramesh, right? And then I'll enter one, and then but and again it's into employees values, and then two, then Santosh, and then one, and again two, three, and Kishore. Cool. So three data we have right now, right? We can insert more data as well, but three is enough, right?
Okay.
So now if we try to check our employee data in employee table, so this is the data that we have, right? And now we want the data, so this is what we have already created, right? So this is how we want the output, right? So and I want names, right? I want names of this. Sorry, with this I want Santosh, and with Santosh I want Ramesh, right? So how can I do it? So the first thing, which This thing will be solved by join only, right? Because I want to join data of two rows, right? How will we
Okay.
know that okay this is a question of join? The thing is I want data from multiple rows, right? In a single row.
Okay.
So because I want this data as well and this data as well. It's not like a one-to-one relation, right? So I need to I need data from multiple rows, right? And group by won't work. One way we can join the data of two rows is by grouping, right?
Yeah.
But the thing over here is there is nothing to group. First thing, how we will group,
Okay.
right? There is nothing to group. We need something to group by, right? That will be unique. You will find no data is unique over here, right? So the group by is out of the question. The another thing is how we can get the data. One thing again, so it's like I want to treat this table as a table, and then again I want to treat this table again as a table. If I open up to this
Okay.
thing, then what eventually happens that there are two options that I have now. One is using subquery and another one is using joins, right? But with subqueries
Okay.
becomes way too easy, so that's why we use joins for this.
Okay.
Okay, so understand till now, or do you have any questions?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So another thing is with join. How many joins we have seen, right? So I would like you to tell which join. Have I uploaded the video of join?
No.
Okay, okay, cool. Then I'll answer. So there are four joins that we have seen in the last. Okay, wait. I think I have uploaded. Okay, okay. I have uploaded the video join. Please go and try to check it because I don't send a text to you every time I upload. I guess I have uploaded.
Okay. I'll check it. Four joins. Left join, right join,
Yeah,
full outer join,
yeah,
and inner join.
yeah. So which join do you think we should use now?
No, here there. Okay. Two tables are there.
Come again?
Okay.
I'm audible? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so out of four joins we have seen, right? It would be left,
Okay.
right, and full outer and inner, right? These four joins we have seen. So which one of these we should use now? And which one we will use? It will based on the output that we want, right? We want this output. This is the table, right? This is the table. This is the output that we want, and these are the joins that we want, right? Also, the
Acha.
thing is, this is. I mean, let me show you one thing as well. Okay, I will stop the recording for a while. Okay. All right. So now we know that we need to use the inner join over here, right? So I will use it as different table as well using the alias. So I want to select, right? What I want to select? I have the output here, right? I want to select employee name and manager, right? So I want name, right? And name, right? But from where? So public and employees,
Okay.
right? Employees now as, and I can say employee, right? So I can say the first thing I want is from employee. I will treat it like there are two tables, employee table and there are manager table, right? So I want employee dot name and manager dot name, right? And
Okay.
as employee name and as manager, right? Manager. And you can even remove the this employee as employee and as manager, right? So I have already chose first employee as employee, right? Now what I need to do, I need to do the use the inner join, right? Inner join. Then from where public employees again, but I will use it as manager now, right? See, this is inner join only, but both left and right tables are employees, right?
Okay.
And where I will make a join, I will make a join on employee dot employee dot id employee dot id equals to manager dot employee dot, if I try to do employee dot manager id, manager underscore id equals to manager dot id, right? So this is the place where I have used join, right? Do I need to do anything else? No, the output, right?
Okay.
Because the null value exclusion is done by automatically because of the inner join, right? The output,
Okay.
we wanted output in this one only, right? Santosh
Okay.
Ramesh and Kishore and this thing, right? So if you want it completely in this, then we can order by employee output by dot id. So now, okay, Kishore Ramesh, okay, let's DESC. Now it's exactly same, Kishore Santosh and Santosh Ramesh, right? Kishore Santosh and Santosh Ramesh. Cool.
Okay.
So this is how we can solve it, right? This is very commonly asked question, but it was used to ask earlier. Nowadays also there are few questions that you people usually ask. For join, this is the question. For inner join, because if you know the one of the joins, which join to use, right?
Hmm.
If someone asks you this question, there one thing that you need to know is about the joins, which join to use out of 4, and then inner join, you will come at the inner join, then you will display uh, your competence with the joins as well, right? And which
Okay.
manager id I need to join with which employee id, right? And if you write it properly in this way, then it will be more impressive, right? Because manager id, and
Okay.
we have used proper alias and provided proper data. All right. So,
Okay.
and another question is also there, which you will find in the lead code section as well. That would be the delete the duplicators, right? And this is a question that we usually require, because if, like we have seen in during the constraint part, right, that if there are duplicate data, then we are not able to set the unique constraint, right? We need to delete
Yeah.
those duplicate data first. So
Okay.
that's why this question, whatever the interview questions is, usually the most of the interview questions are basically the real life requirement, right? At some time.
Okay.
So if I need to add some constraint and unique constraint, and there is duplicate data, so if I know how to delete the duplicate data, then it would be easier for me, right? Otherwise I will google
Yeah.
it. So that's the thing. And if I want to google, then also it's cool if it's a simple query, but if I want to google and try to create a complex query with the subqueries and havings and these things, then it becomes complex. All right. And then we have completed our joins. Now I need to check, we have completed subqueries, we haven't completed, right?
Subqueries we have completed 8 types of subqueries.
Okay, we have covered subqueries as well.
Views, I think you were mentioning views earlier.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, right, we'll do recording on, and let's start with the view. Cool. So what, okay, so we right now, if I want to describe this table, okay, let me drop the table employee, right? Drop public employee, or let's leave it, right? Okay, but it will employees table in this. Okay, let's leave it. If we want find that okay it's irritating, then we'll drop it, right? uh, for now, what we have seen till far, that in our database there is nothing, right? The type, that the relation, the list of relation that we have, and the type is only table, right?
Okay.
what if what if I want different things, right? What are the different things that we can have? Let's go to snapdeal, and over here if I do, then you will see there is a view type, right? Are you able to see? My screen shared it, right? Are you able to see this view?
Yeah.
And then there is a sequence, then there is a table, right? Three things we have in this, and right now, but we as of now in our Zomato we have only tables, right? So what is a view, and what is the need of the view, right?
Yeah.
And when to use a view, those things we will cover. So first of all, the thing is the subqueries, we find these subqueries and joins, we find it easy because we have been developing code here using the trees and the graphs and whatnot, right? So we
Okay.
find these things way too easy, right? But for someone from the business background who haven't even written a single line of code, so for them
Okay.
even these things becomes hard, right? And the thing is, they don't their basics are not clear. They haven't even thought about this, that select clause is something else and from clause is something else, how the query flows, right, internally, how engine works. Those things they don't read, right? And they don't
Okay.
have to, and they don't even know that they have to read. So what's end up happening, if you are a senior developer or you are a developer only, right, let's not add the senior or techie. So if you are in the development and you get some queries, right, often you get a query. For example, if you are if you are booking a flight, right, and the payment got
Okay.
cancelled, right, payment got cancelled, or didn't went through, right. So the user will ask, okay, your service is not working, and I tried doing the payment 3 to 4 times, and every time it's not going through. So now this query will be with the backend team, right, I mean ops team, right, operation team
Okay.
will handle this thing, right.
Okay.
So what's end up happening is that operation team eventually they will try to do something on their own. If they are able to do it, then it's completely cool. If they are not able to do it, then what's end up happening, they will they will send it to the QA team or the development team, right.
Okay.
This is the flow that we follow, right, in the industry. That
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
are some
Okay.
people who are going to do something, and based on, if they are not able to do, then chain of responsibility is a design pattern which follows, which is created for this particular scenarios for only.
Acha.
First of all, you will get to the customer care, then from the customer care this will be scaled to the senior customer care executive, then the
Okay.
technical people will technical what you call technical support person will get involved, and then the QA will get involved. If they are unable to do that, then the senior QA, then the development team will get involved, right. And by
Acha.
the time it will get the TL will kill the issue, right, or at least he will be able to provide the answer. So
Right.
that's the chain. But the thing is, if my company is B2B, for B2C, if my company is B2B, then there will be hardly 100 to 1000 of the users, right. And if they create the queries, then it will be easy to handle by even 10 to 20 employees, right. But what if my
Okay.
DAUs are in lakhs or in crores? Over there is an issue. We cannot scale the number of people, right, to handle those queries. The first thing is that in basic companies, what's end up happening, if you are unable to pay from your payment medium, for example the credit card or debit card, if you don't have the amount, right, if you don't have the credit in your credit card left, then as soon as the payment gets declined, it will show you the text error, right, that okay, payment has been declined due to insufficient balance, right. You will get this message. Why?
Okay.
B2C companies try to do that. I mean, they have to do that, not even try, because if they have millions DAUs and millions will try to pay, then they won't be able to answer these questions, right, for every person, that why my payment hasn't gone through. They need to display it on the screen as well. But let's say that
Okay.
a person haven't seen this thing, right. So, and he tries to call the ops team, that okay, I'm unable to pay, I want to pay, I'm unable to pay, your system is worse, right. So then
Okay.
there will be a query raised, right, on the system. Then from there, my responsibility as a tech lead should be like, nothing should come to my resource as well, right. Even the software people, engineer people should not get involved in this, because this thing is a
Okay.
simple, because the data, why it has failed, it will be on the database. SQL database, no SQL database, is it's a topic of debate, but it will be in some of the database, right, that why the payment
Okay.
hasn't gone through. Even for a week we save it in the cache as well. So in most of the cases, so we have the data somewhere, right. It just, and
Okay.
customer care support will be able to read the data also, right, because they have been trained to read those data. So my
Okay.
responsibility will be, and another thing will be, if I'll provide the access to of the database, usually QA people have the access of the production database as well, right. But the thing is, QA people also, we cannot make sure that they know about the proper queries and joins, right, and the most optimized forms. Maybe there can be a thing that they will try to write a query which is not optimized, and they will completely hold a thread for like 20 to 30 minutes and then query. And for this kind of scenarios, we already have the connection timeout. So before 20 seconds, if the query
Okay.
is taking more than 20 seconds, then already it will be discarded. But the thing is, then QA will come to you, right, that okay, I'm unable to
Okay.
get the data, please get the data for me, right? Let's say that some complex joins needs to do.
Yeah, Abhishek, one second. One second.
All right, all right, I've started recording. So now what's end up happening is that if QA people don't know, right, which I
Okay.
mean how to write the query, at least most optimized query with based on the performance, right?
Okay.
And we do not expect the QA people to know this thing, right? Even if developers don't know that, we cannot expect QA people to know how to write the most optimized query. So what's end up
Okay.
happening, the query will be presented to the developer or the tech lead or the senior software engineer, right? Again,
Okay.
we don't want, why we will write this thing, we'll see in later on. We don't want, it's not about the QA people, I'm just providing you why we usually write it, right? So what's happening ends up happening, I if I know that okay, there are some basic queries that people usually want or ends up wanting, right? I mean,
Okay.
because in our system that we have created, people may, what people may need, right? People may need which order has been ordered by which user, right? And for which product. This is the
Okay.
data, right? Which one can provide. Let's take an example that someone wants this thing public, every data it wants from orders, from users, and then let's say inner join, right? Because I don't want anything which is not in the system. Inner join and public orders where, okay, as you, as o, and we know that in the from clause we don't need to write as, right? So in where as u dot id equals to o dot user id, right? Okay, my bad, where I don't need to write, it is on clause. Okay, I have removed on as well, my bad. Right, but this is the data that I get, right? So let's take an example that okay, the people that they have hired in my team is not the technical person, right? They don't even know the SQL. They say that okay, they have completed the course, but the course was some online course, right? They don't know how the internal works or proper writing the basic queries. So this is the
Okay.
query that they are asking me again and again, right? It has been 10
Okay.
times that my resource is writing query for them or I am writing query for them, right? So what's end up happening, if I know that okay, this is the query that they want again and again, right? So
Hmm.
isn't there is some way that I can save this query in the system, right? And just let them know, because they are aware of some databases, right? Like for example, the QA people, they are
Okay.
aware of some basic queries. And select asterisk from some table is the basic query that everyone knows, right? In the business team as well. So what I can do, I can store a query. How? As a view. I can create a view. Earlier what I have done, I used to create table, right? Now I'm
Okay.
using create with view, right? So I'm
Okay.
creating a view, and the same create table, table name, right? So create view and view name. Let's take make it a user employee. Okay, user employee view. Cool. And then what's the answer happening? Then I will say it as, right? So I'm saying create a view and name it user employee view, and it will be as, right? After as, what I'll do, I will just write the query select asterisk from public and users as you, then inner join, and then public orders as o, and on, then u dot id equals to o dot user underscore id. Let me just double check whether I have written the entire statement again, otherwise I have to write it again. So cool. So see, select asterisk from public users as you, inner join public orders, okay, as o, then user id over id, right? Cool. So see what I have done over here, I am just saying create a view and name the view as user employee view and save it as this thing, right? If I,
Okay.
okay, id more than once, okay, column id is specified more than once, right? Where as u dot id and user dot id. mm, 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 mm. I don't think, okay, wait, I think some lines I have written earlier on, right? I think that is left, okay, cool. Then create view, okay, employee, oh my god, user order view, then as, and then simple column id is specified more than once. Okay, cool. See, there is one difference between a column and a view that
Okay.
we need to see over here. Let me show you by connecting with the snap view, right? The snap view. Okay, okay. Let's create our own, right? Why do we go? It's saying that okay, id has been specified twice, right? More than once, right?
Mm.
It is saying this thing, right? But
Okay.
over in the query you won't find it anywhere, right?
Mm.
But what ends up happening is whenever I'll create a view, it will be treated as a table only, right? I'll show you in a while. So the data that I'm getting from this query, it will try
Okay.
to create a table out of it, right? At least try to mimic it as a table out of it. So that's why
Yeah.
duplicate column names don't allowed, right? In a table.
Okay.
So that's why it is throwing the same error right now. So what I can do instead of this, I can use some basic thing on, and also we don't write in this way also in production, because which ID is which ID now ops team or the QA team won't be able to understand, right? So what I will say that u dot id, I can take it as user id, and then what I can do, o dot id as order underscore id, right?
Okay.
And okay, let me just copy paste it, and let's check how much data is there. Okay, the first name, last name, email, and amount. So let's take first, last name, email, and amount. First name, last name, email, and amount. Okay, so what I can do now is I can update this query with okay username. Okay, so what I'll do, first name, right, last name, right, as user name, and then email as email, then phone as phone. Because it's not duplicate, I can write it as this only. But the thing is, we should always use like this, right, whenever we are writing in the production. And then amount, then o dot amount as order price. Cool. So okay, the first name perhaps, okay, you got first name is not there. Let's just use, okay, spelling is wrong, right?
FIR. FIRS.
Okay, first u dot last name, right? So this is the data that we have right now, right? So let's just copy
Okay.
paste this command. All right, and now again try to create a view, right? Okay, let me write it there, and the view name will be user order right? User orders. Cool. We don't need to write the view over there, right? I'm just writing it just to make sure that we are able to see it. And even I can remove it and write it as this only, right? And then I can just simply copy paste the query, right? I have successfully created a view, right? And now if I'll do this, then you will see a view user orders, right? And why it was showing an error right now it will be clear to you over here. See the column types, right? When I say that please describe the user orders, then it is saying that there is a user ID, right? Integer, order ID integer. Then what ends up happening, if I use select asterisk, then there will be two IDs, right? I mean earlier when we were trying to use asterisk, we in the select query, when we wanted all the columns from both the tables,
Acha.
then
Okay.
there was an error, right? And the error
Okay.
was that ID is duplicated, right? The column ID has been duplicated.
Acha.
So
Acha.
this was the reason that it was getting an error, right? I have, and this thing I mean I am using both IDs, right? I'm using in the user tables it is ID only column name, and the orders table it is ID only, right? But with the alias I have updated the column name, right? I have
Okay.
used the ID, right? U dot ID and O dot ID. I still use both IDs, but
Okay.
because I have used alias, now the name of the columns have been updated, right? So that's why we were getting the error earlier. And one thing we need to know that why I have done this, right? Instead
Hmm.
of why I haven't used only first username and last name, right? I was not flexing my capability to use the concatenation. I wanted you to know that the first name, right? Let me show you the user table, right? On user table, if you see, the character varying is 255, right? If I would have used the first name, then over here it would be character varying of 255, right?
Yeah.
But cause I have concatenated two items, it has moved to text, right?
Text right.
And why it has moved to text? What's the difference between character varying and text? That text
Text
has
is
no
a
limit,
varying length. Yeah.
right? The text has no limit, right? Visible over here?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the text has no limit. That's why the view it is showing. It's saying, okay, this text can have. Okay, my bad. Where is the view? Okay, this is the user. This is the view. So it's saying the username will have unlimited. Can I have unlimited amount of characters, right? Instead of some where carrying. And then email. See, the email it has taken from itself only, right? 100. The phone it has taken from that only, right? We can see with the users. Now you can see 150, right? Email and phone. It has taken from the particular column, right? Cool. And this 10 and 2, it's taken from the auto stable, right? Now what will end up doing? I will just say, okay, if you want the data, please try to access data from public user orders. Cool. And then this is the data that they are getting, right? And now if they knew some basic queries like where clause, where user id equals to 1, right? Where user id equals to 1, this thing they can go and google it, right? How to use the where clause. It's way too simple, right? Don't need to know how the data flows or the query flows. Cool. So but is there any users order table exists in the database? The answer is no. I have just
Oh.
what I have done, I have just created a query and saved it. I just told them that okay, please, whenever someone says that okay, I want data from user orders, right? Then please give them give them as a table the
Okay.
output of my join or the query that I have saved, right?
So that query will be executed every time you call
Yes,
this,
yes. The
and then
next
it will
question,
join that. It will make the table and then give that table on the
yes,
fly.
yes. We haven't stored the data
Stored.
in
Yeah.
some
Oh.
another table, right? We haven't even created anything. We just stored a query, and that's it.
Okay.
Every time I will write select asterisk from public orders, it will go to the database, fetch out the query that I have saved while creating the view, and then execute that particular query. So if I insert, this is the next question that people ask after the view. What is a view? So what is a view? View is just a saved query that is
Saved
treated
query.
as a table, right?
Okay.
Or the another example I will tell you in a while. And then they will ask that what is the lifespan of a view, right? Or life cycle of a view. The thing is, because people ask, okay, if this is the data that we are getting from a view, if two users is updated again, if there are two more users, right? There are
Yeah.
only 1 2 3 4. If there are 5 and 6 users as well, then what will happen? The thing is, the data will be updated. Because the
Updated.
thing
Yeah.
is, we are not saving the data, right? We are saving the query. Every time I'm trying to access this view, then I'm executing that particular query and treating it like a table, right?
Okay.
So the
So
thing
if
is,
you give slash d public dot users dot orders, it should not nothing should come.
come again.
You describe the slash d public dot users
Okay,
underscore orders.
we just have seen that this thing it will show you
Oh, it will
the
show.
data.
Okay.
We have just seen that thing, right? In the
But
user will be
I'm
included in
saying it
that.
should not come. If it is stored as a table, it should not come. It is
Why will it not come? it,
stored.
it is saying, right, it is a view. It's not saying it's a table. It is showing you it's a view. Why should it not come over here?
Okay.
It's a type, right? D means describe. Whatever you have, it will
Okay.
describe, right? Why should it not? I mean, it's good that it's a good thing that it is describing this thing, right? Because we know now that it's a view, not a table.
Okay.
So if I'll do the employee or users, it's good thing, right? I have the data type that
Okay.
it is a table. It is a view.
Okay.
D should happen every time with everything. D should happen. Describe should happen with everything. It makes our
Okay.
life easier. All right.
Okay.
So now what? I mean, now one thing we have seen that okay, if I want a query, and if I want to give someone a query, right, complex query, and they are asking it again and again, and sometimes they are even some people are leaving the form, then again I have to share the things. What I can do, I can just save the query in the database alone only, right? सा है कहाँ संगीत है all right, let's rejoin again. Hi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, my system got disconnected. I don't know. Recording is still on. Let's see. Okay, so where were we? Okay, let me share my screen first. So now it's 1% cool. So we were doing okay. We were at the this view, right? So the thing
Yeah.
is, when we will do this, describe the Zomato database, then we get a view, right? When we say that describe the user this thing, then it will describe it, right, as a view. Cool. This thing we have already seen. And now the thing is, if it would be better if I just provide it to the people, or if I just document it. If you want some data from these two tables, or these particular XYZ data can be accessed using this particular table, right? Now even the tech
Okay.
support people, if they want to write some script, they can directly use this thing, right? View. Now this is the first thing. Another thing is, what is a view? If we check, but first is the life cycle of view. We want to know. The first thing is we are not saving anything, right? So in a life
Yeah.
cycle there is nothing to be created and deleted, right? We are just storing a simple query. That's it. I mean complex
Okay.
query. We are just saving a complex query as it. So the life
Okay.
cycle won't involve anything to be deleted and created, right? Whenever we are trying to access the view, data from the view, then it will be, the query will be fetched, query will be executed, then the data will be provided, right? And it will be treated as a table. First thing. Another thing is that, is this thing where a data query is treated as a table. Have you seen it somewhere else? Yes, we have in select clause subquery, right? So whatever I am doing over here, right? Okay, let's try to fetch the query. Okay, so this is the query, right? This is the query that we have created.
Okay.
So let me just, okay, enter it. So this is the data we are getting, right? So see, from this also I am getting the same data, right?
Okay.
So what I can do right now, okay, okay, first of all I will try to get data from this view, right? So this is the data from the view, right? And what
Yeah.
I can do, I can say that select as everything from public, right? And in the from clause I can provide the query, right? This
Okay.
thing we have okay, 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 okay. Then as user orders, right? So same thing I have got, right, from both things. Let me just clean some screen and then see. Both data are same, right?
Yeah.
So a view is nothing, just a select from subquery where the subquery has been saved. That's it.
Acha.
So now you know that, okay, first comes the subquery and then comes the view, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just an implementation. We have just saved the query and then we are treating it as a from clause subquery, and that's it. That's the thing we are doing over here with the views, right?
Acha.
So the question
Acha.
comes, the most commonly asked question with the view is, okay, so the life cycle of a view. So the thing is, we are not saving anything, so there will be nothing to be created or deleted. And the another thing, the only thing we are saving is the query that we want to save, right? That's
Okay.
the only thing that we are saving, and it will be dropped as well. If I want to drop this thing, what I will do, drop table I do, right? So it will be drop user public oh my bad, drop public user orders, right? Now if I'll do this, there will be no view, right? Again here, but I can create it again. Now it will be visible again, right? If I'll do the select asterisk from public user orders, cool. So again data is here, cool. So the drop view will be, it will be same, the drop, create, everything is same like of a table, right? So the life
Okay.
cycle we have seen that in a life cycle we are not going to, okay,
Save.
yeah. So in a life cycle we are not going to save anything, we are just storing the metadata. First thing is we are storing the query, another thing is we are storing the metadata. And what do I mean by metadata? This thing, that which data type, which, this is the metadata, right?
Okay.
So this thing we are storing, that's it, nothing else we are storing. The another thing is, people will usually ask, if the data is updated, will the this from view, the data from the view will get also updated? The thing
Yeah.
is, we are not saving anything, so it will obviously be updated, right? Because in the runtime, we are executing a complex query only, right? So
Okay.
yes, the data will be updated. Cool. So this is the only thing. We can also alter the view. We can also drop the view. We can treat it as a table only. We can do anything with the view,
Achha.
right? Drop we have already seen. So that's it with the view.
Okay.
And it's not like we only create a view just to provide in the upstream or the testing team, right? We can also create a view for our own coding purposes as well, right? Because if we want to get data from different tables, and it will be easy if we have written a query, right? But the thing is,
Okay.
view we usually prefer not to write on the master database, right? But
Okay.
okay, are you aware of master and slave or replica
Yeah.
databases? Okay, cool. Then it's cool. So we usually create these views on replica databases because the replicas are the one which we provide access to these upstream, right, or the tech support team. Because if they want to write some query, then we are not going to review their queries, right? We are not even going to review their code as well if they are writing some automation, right?
Okay.
So what's end up happening? We provide them the replica databases. So whenever
Okay.
we want to make a write operations, I mean we are not going to cover this in our course, but whenever we do the write operations, we do on the master. Whenever we do the need to do the search operations, we usually go for the slaves, right, or the replica
Achha.
databases.
Achha.
So that's why you would have seen many times in the if you have tried to access your 6 months or 1 year history bank statement, right, or the
Hmm.
statement of your credit card, they will say that okay, the data will be of yesterday, right? Whenever you try to get it, today's data won't be there. The reason is when
Okay.
you're trying to get the data will be synced to the replicas at the midnight.
Achha.
So that's why you won't see the data of your last day. Same, I mean, payment in the payments industry, this is usually a common practice because they want the data to be settled also. If company is trying to book something, and if like for example, Make My Trip is booking some flights from Indigo, right? Indigo has given credits to the Indigo airline, right? Oh, sorry,
Hmm.
for the Make My Trip. So after a day, I mean, it would not be like that. Okay, our ticket is being booked, and the Make My Trip is making payment to the Indigo, right? The system would be like for a complete day, they will understand that based on the UTC or based on the what's the Indian IST, right? Indian Standard Time. So based on the
Okay.
UTC or IST, they will decide in for the 24 hours, they will do the payment. So whatever flight they have booked for Indigo
Okay.
airline, the Make My Trip
Okay.
will pay on the next day, right? They will go with the day wise or month wise or week wise. That's how it goes, and it becomes easy as well
Achha.
because
Okay.
the production database don't get a load, very large load. This is also the thing. All right,
Okay. Okay.
and that was the view, and that was our the select clause subquery, right? So
Okay.
view has been view is nothing, just the from clause subquery, right? So
Okay.
all right, so that's it. Let's end the session for today, and